The night air held a crisp chill, hinting at the approach of autumn in the small town of Crestwood. Isla Wren, with her long auburn hair flowing gently in the breeze, paced back and forth on the porch of her quaint brick home, clutching her phone with trembling hands. She knew this conversation would change everything. It wasn't just the pregnancy that unnerved her. It was who the father was. Taking a deep breath, she dialed the familiar number, hearing the line ring once, twice, before her mother Joan answered with her usual warmth. "Isla, sweetheart, is everything okay?" "Mom, I need to tell you something important," Isla began, her voice wavering slightly. It's big news." Joan's tone shifted from warmth to concern in an instant. "What's wrong, honey? You sound upset." "It's not exactly bad, Mom. It's just unexpected. I'm pregnant." There was a pause, a stretch of silence that felt like an eternity to Isla. Then her mother's voice, filled with mixed emotions, came through. "Oh, Isla, baby, are you okay? Are you happy about this?" "I am, Mom. It's just complicated. The father, he's not from here." "Not from here? You mean he's foreign?" Joan's confusion was palpable. "You could say that." Isla chuckled nervously. "Mom, he's not from Earth. He's alien." This time the silence was even longer, filled with the crackling of the phone line and the distant sound of crickets outside. When Joan finally spoke, her voice was a whisper of disbelief. "Alien? Isla, are you sure? Are you feeling okay?" "Yes, Mom, I'm sure. His name is Zale. He's wonderful and kind, and yes, very different, but in good ways. We met during the meteor shower last month. I didn't tell you because I wasn't sure how to, or even if I should." Joan took a deep breath, the sound shaky. "I need a moment, darling. This is a lot. But tell me, does he care for you? Truly?" "He does, Mom. He's actually here with me now. He wants to meet you and Dad, to explain everything." "Meet us?" Joan's voice steadied, tinged with her innate curiosity. "Well, I suppose if he's going to be the father of my grandchild, we need to meet him. When can we do this?" "He's ready whenever you are. He's eager to meet you, to share about his world and how we can make this work." "Okay," Joan said, the firmness returning to her voice. "Bring him over tomorrow for dinner. We'll talk then. I love you, Isla, no matter what. We'll figure this out together." "Thanks, Mom. I love you too. See you tomorrow." Isla ended the call, her heart still racing but relieved at her mother's response. Turning to Zale, who had been waiting quietly in the living room, his tall, slender figure framed by the window, she smiled. His features were sharp, his skin a shimmering silver hue that seemed to capture the essence of the starlit sky outside. His eyes, a deep violet, were filled with concern for her. "It's set. We're going to dinner at my parents' tomorrow. Are you ready to meet Earth's finest, Zale?" Zale nodded, a gentle smile playing on his lips. "For you, Isla, I am ready for anything. Let us hope they find me acceptable." As they prepared for the night, the weight of the cosmos seemed to rest on their shoulders, the stars above silently watching the unfolding drama. Little did they know, the challenges ahead would test not just their love but the very understanding of two worlds colliding. Yet for now, hope shimmered like a beacon in the quiet night, guiding them toward a future unknown and utterly extraordinary. The following evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the earth, Isla and Zale approached the modest Wren family home. Zale, dressed in human attire but still distinctly otherworldly with his shimmering skin and violet eyes, took a deep breath, trying to calm his nerves. Isla squeezed his hand reassuringly. "You'll be great. Just be yourself. They're going to love you." The door swung open before they could even knock, revealing Joan and behind her Isla's father, Michael, a broad-shouldered man with a skeptical look on his face. Joan, however, smiled warmly, though her eyes flicked curiously between Isla and Zale. "Welcome," Joan said, stepping aside. "Please come in. Dinner's almost ready." Zale nodded politely. "Thank you for having me in your home." As they entered, Michael extended a cautious hand. Michael Wren, you must be Zale. I hear you're from far off. Very far indeed, Zale replied, his voice carrying a melodious accent that didn't belong to any earthly nation. His handshake was firm, his touch slightly cooler than a human's. They gathered in the dining room where Joan had laid out a feast. The table was filled with dishes that Isla had grown up with. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans. Simple, hearty fare that suddenly seemed overly terrestrial in the presence of a guest from the stars. Over dinner, Michael drilled Zale with questions, his tone blending curiosity and a father's protectiveness. So, Zale, tell us about where you come from. What's life like there? Zale, understanding the importance of these questions, answered thoughtfully. I am from a planet we call Erythros. It's much like your Earth in many ways. Seas, mountains, skies. But our society is quite different. We are governed by a council of elders, each representing a different aspect of our culture and science. Our technology is perhaps more advanced than yours, as we can travel between stars. Joan listened, fascinated. And your family? What do they think about all of this? My family supports my journey here. They believe in learning from and sharing knowledge with other worlds. They would be honored to meet you as well. As the evening progressed, the initial tension slowly dissolved, helped by Isla's stories of her early days with Zale, explaining how they had met and the shared moments that had brought them closer. Michael's demeanor softened as he saw the genuine affection between the two. After dessert, a homemade apple pie that Joan had insisted Zale try, they moved to the living room for coffee. Michael sat back, cup in hand, and looked at Zale with a newfound respect. You care about her a lot, don't you? Zale nodded, his eyes never leaving Isla. Very much. She has shown me the beauty of your world and the warmth of its people. Joan, who had been quiet, finally spoke her mind. It's going to be a challenge, isn't it? Raising a child with, well, with such different backgrounds. Yes, Zale agreed. But every child is a union of different histories. Our child will have the heritage of two worlds. We see this as a strength. Isla reached out, taking Zale's hand in hers. We'll figure it out together, with help from both our families. The evening ended with promises to visit Erythros via Zale's connections, an idea that thrilled Joan and intrigued Michael. As they left, Michael clapped Zale on the shoulder, a gesture of acceptance that spoke louder than words. Walking back to their own home under the star-filled sky, Isla felt a surge of relief and hope. Tonight had bridged more than just two families. It had started the blending of two worlds. 3 weeks passed since the dinner, during which the small town of Crestwood became a nexus of interstellar attention, albeit unbeknownst to its other residents. Isla and Zale's relationship grew deeper as they navigated the complexities of their situation, fortified by the support from both of their families. However, the real test was about to begin, as Zale received a transmission from Erythros, a formal invitation for Isla to visit his planet. The morning was quiet, the air filled with the soft chirping of birds and a gentle breeze that carried the scent of blooming flowers through the open windows of their home. Zale, looking unusually pensive, approached Isla in the kitchen. Isla, we've received an invitation from the Council of Elders on Erythros. They wish to meet you, to extend their blessings and discuss our future, particularly concerning our child. Isla's heart raced at the thought. Going to an alien planet was beyond anything she had ever imagined for herself. When would we go? Soon, Zale replied. Traveling between our worlds is not complicated for us, but preparation is essential. You would be the first Earthling to set foot on Erythros. The Council wants to ensure your safety and comfort. Determined to be part of the world her child would inherit, Isla nodded in agreement, masking her nervousness with a smile. Okay, let's do this. How do we prepare? Over the next few days, Zale taught Isla the basics of his language and culture. He explained the social norms and expectations of his people, who valued knowledge, respect for nature, and a deep sense of community. He also introduced her to the rudimentary use of some of their technology, which was both fascinating and overwhelming for Isla. As the day of departure drew near, Joan and Michael visited to say their farewells, bringing with them a mix of pride and worry. Joan hugged Isla tightly, whispering words of encouragement, while Michael, ever the protector, spoke privately with Zale, ensuring his daughter's welfare was paramount. The travel itself was unlike anything Isla could have prepared for. They boarded Zael's spacecraft, a sleek, silver vessel that hummed with a quiet power. Zael operated the controls with a practiced ease, guiding them beyond the Earth's atmosphere. The blue of the planet faded into the starry expanse of space, and Isla, glued to the viewport, watched in awe. The journey through space was swift, facilitated by what Zale called fold technology, which allowed them to traverse vast distances in a fraction of the time it would take even the fastest human-made spacecraft. Before she knew it, the red and green hues of Erythros loomed before them, its two suns setting the sky ablaze with light. Landing on Erythros was smooth, and they were greeted by a delegation led by Zale's father, a dignified elder with the same striking violet eyes as his son. His greeting was formal but warm, embracing Isla as one of his own. The welcome ceremony was both beautiful and surreal, filled with music that seemed to echo the natural sounds of the planet. Their first meeting with the Council of Elders took place in a vast open-air structure, surrounded by towering crystal formations that glowed softly in the planet's twilight. The elders, each representing different facets of their society, expressed their enthusiasm and curiosity about Earth and its cultures. Isla, dressed in a traditional garment of Erythros that shimmered under the alien suns, spoke earnestly about her desire to bridge their worlds, not just for her and Zale, but for the future of their child who would belong to both. Her words, though simple, touched the hearts of those present, earning her nods of approval and smiles of acceptance. As the meeting concluded, Isla and Zale were led to their new home on Erythros, a dwelling harmoniously integrated into its natural surroundings, overlooking a vast sea that sparkled with bioluminescent life. Lying in Zale's arms that night, Isla felt a profound connection to the universe, her fears replaced by a burgeoning sense of wonder and possibility for what the future might hold. Life on Erythros unfolded with a rhythm that was both exhilarating and challenging for Isla. Each day brought new discoveries about the planet and its inhabitants, whose technology and way of life were deeply intertwined with the natural environment. Zael's family embraced her warmly, guiding her through the nuances of their customs and traditions, which emphasized harmony and the collective well-being over individual gain. One morning, Zael took Isla to the Hall of Harmony, a magnificent structure made of intertwined living vines and luminescent stones, where important gatherings and celebrations were held. Today it was the venue for a significant event, the unification ceremony, a tradition where individuals from different worlds shared their histories and dreams, weaving them into the fabric of Erythros society. As they entered the hall, Isla was struck by the intricate mosaic of sounds and colors, each element a testament to the cultural diversity of the planet. She was introduced to various scholars and artists, each eager to learn about Earth and share their own stories. The ceremony was a beautiful tapestry of speeches, music, and dance, culminating in a communal pledge to uphold the values of unity and respect across species and planets. Amid the celebrations, Zale leaned over to whisper to Isla, "There's something I need to show you later. Something personal about my past that I want you to understand." Curiosity piqued. Isla nodded, her interest mingling with a tinge of apprehension. What could be so important that it had to wait until now? As dusk settled over Erythros, painting the sky in hues of deep purple and fiery orange, Zale guided Isla to a secluded part of the coastline, away from the glowing cities and bustling communities. Here, the only sounds were the gentle lapping of the waves and the soft rustle of the silver-leaved trees swaying in the gentle breeze. Zale stopped and faced her, taking both her hands in his. "Isla, what I'm about to share is a part of my history that few know. It's about my mother, Lysara. She was a brilliant scientist and explorer, one of the first from Erythros to travel to distant galaxies. But on one expedition, something went wrong, and she never returned. It was her loss that fueled my desire to bridge our worlds, to prevent such tragedies through deeper understanding and cooperation." Isla listened, her heart heavy with the weight of Zale's loss. "I'm so sorry, Zale, I didn't know." He smiled softly, squeezing her hands gently. "It's okay. It's not just a story of loss, but also of inspiration. My mother's mission logs were recovered, and they've been a guide for me. And now, I hope for us as we shape a new path for our child." Moved by his vulnerability, Isla wrapped her arms around him, her resolve strengthening. "We'll honor her memory together and make sure our child knows of her grandmother's courage and curiosity." Returning to their home, Zale introduced Isla to another aspect of their technology, a holographic interface that allowed them to access Lysara's mission logs and explore her discoveries. Together, they watched scenes of unknown planets and interacted with simulations of alien ecosystems, each entry filled with Lysara's observations and hopes for future explorations. This intimate sharing brought Isla and Zale even closer, forging a deeper understanding between them. It was not just the fusion of two lives, but the blending of past and future, dreams and realities. As they prepared for the birth of their child, Isla felt a profound connection not only to Zale and his world, but to the legacy of exploration and unity that would one day be their child's heritage. They were not merely forming a family, but were pioneers on a frontier that spanned stars, poised to build bridges across the cosmos. As the weeks on Erythros turned into months, Isla found herself increasingly integrated into the fabric of Zale's world. The initial shock of her new surroundings gave way to a profound appreciation for the alien beauty around her, and she began contributing to the community with her own expertise in Earth biology, drawing parallels between terrestrial and extraterrestrial ecosystems. During a community assembly in the conservatory, a sprawling complex dedicated to the preservation and study of Erythros's diverse flora and fauna, Isla presented her first collaborative project. She had been working with Zale's sister, Maria, a prominent botanist, to blend Earth's agricultural techniques with Erythrosian methods to enhance crop yields without harming the local environment. "The principles of permaculture are not just limited to Earth," Isla explained to the assembled crowd, showcasing a series of interactive holograms that illustrated the flow of nutrients and energy through an integrated farming system. "By adapting these methods to Erythrosian conditions, we can improve soil health and biodiversity, ensuring sustainable food sources for future generations." Her proposal was met with enthusiastic approval, and she felt a swell of pride, not just in her professional achievements, but in her growing role within Zale's community. However, her advancing pregnancy added a layer of complexity to her daily life. Erythrosian medical technology was advanced, but her condition was a novelty on the planet. Zale's father, now affectionately referred to by Isla as Father Eldrin, organized a team of their best physicians and xenobiologists to ensure her health and comfort. Regular scans and checkups became part of her routine, each visit reassuring her of the well-being of her unborn child, who was a blend of two worlds. One evening, as Isla and Zale relaxed in their living area, the baby kicked strongly, prompting a laugh and a hand from both parents on Isla's belly. "Seems like our little one is ready to explore already," Zale commented with a grin. "Or maybe just reminding us that there's a whole galaxy out there waiting for them," Isla replied, her thoughts drifting to her family back on Earth. She missed them dearly, and communication was limited to messages and occasional voice transmissions. But she knew they were eagerly following her adventures through the updates she managed to send. The emotional toll of being away from Earth was mitigated somewhat by the preparations for the baby. Isla and Zale's home gradually filled with gifts from their neighbors, each item a work of art, crafted with care and imbued with good wishes. Blankets woven from the soft fibers of Erythrosian plants, toys that gently glowed in the dark, and books filled with stories from across the galaxy. All these enriched the nursery with a tapestry of interstellar culture. As the expected date drew near, a celebration was planned in their honor, reflecting the Erythrosian tradition of welcoming new life. The entire community contributed, and the Festival of Continuation was a vibrant affair, held under the open skies by the edge of the luminescent sea. Music filled the air, a harmony of exotic instruments and voices. While dancers moved gracefully, their bodies painted in the glowing colors of Erythros's bioluminescent life. Isla, dressed in a flowing gown that shimmered with the same light, felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. Zael stood by her side, his expression one of love and anticipation, as they both looked forward to the moment their child would join them, marking the beginning of a new chapter in the grand tapestry of life that stretched across the stars. The festival of continuation was still a warm memory in the minds of the community when the time came for the child to be born. It was a night marked by a rare celestial alignment, with both of Erythros's suns setting simultaneously on the horizon, casting the planet into a deep, serene twilight that occurs only once every decade. The air was vibrant with energy, and the community gathered once again, this time in a quieter, more anticipatory assembly around Isla and Zael's home. Inside, the atmosphere was charged with a calm intensity. Zael was at Isla's side every moment, holding her hand and whispering words of encouragement. The medical team, a blend of Erythrosian physicians and a robotic assistant programmed with Earth's medical knowledge, attended to Isla with expert care, ensuring a balance of Earthling and alien medical practices. As the labor progressed, the sounds of Erythrosian lullabies hummed softly through the room, a gentle counterpoint to Isla's focused breathing. Outside, the community awaited, their quiet murmurs blending with the rustle of the silver-leaved trees. Finally, with a gentle push under the twin twilight, Isla brought a new life into the world. The baby was a beautiful blend of her parents' features, violet eyes sparkling with the curiosity of his father and the determined spirit of his mother etched across his tiny face. His skin held a soft glow, a common trait among Erythrosians, yet it flickered with a rhythm that echoed Isla's heartbeat, a sign of his unique heritage. The room erupted into quiet cheers and sighs of relief as the child was carefully wrapped in a soft, glowing blanket. Zael, tears of joy in his eyes, cut the umbilical cord with a ceremonial blade, an Erythrosian tradition to symbolize the child's independence from his mother and his entrance into the community. "He's perfect, Isla," Zael whispered, his voice thick with emotion as he gently handed their son to her. "He's our little star," Isla replied, cradling the newborn against her chest, feeling the incredible rush of maternal love and the weight of responsibility that came with motherhood. As dawn approached, with the first sun rising, casting a gentle light over the scene, the medical team quietly exited, leaving the family to their intimate moment. It wasn't long before the doors opened to Father Eldrin and the closest of friends and family, each eager to welcome the newest member of their world. Father Eldrin approached, his eyes gleaming with pride. "He shall be named Raylan," he announced, following the Erythrosian custom where the paternal grandfather named the child. "For he will bridge the starlight between worlds, a symbol of our united hopes and dreams." The community gathered later that day for a small ceremony, introducing Raylan to the wonders of his home planet. His introduction to the society was not just a formality, but a celebration of the future possibilities, the potential for peace and understanding between species and planets. In the weeks that followed, Isla took to motherhood naturally, her days filled with the joys and challenges of raising a child who was both Earthling and Erythrosian. Zael, ever supportive, shared every duty, ensuring that both cultures were woven seamlessly into Raylan's upbringing. As Raylan grew, so did the connections between Earth and Erythros. The family story, a tale of love and unity, spread across galaxies, inspiring other worlds to seek out new relationships and understanding. Isla and Zael, once merely two beings from different planets, had sparked a legacy of interstellar harmony, proving that even the vastness of space could not hinder the power of love and cooperation. And so, under the watchful eyes of stars and loved ones alike, Raylan's life began, a living testament to the beauty of a shared universe, an endless horizon of possibilities awaiting his exploration.